أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
My name is Chris Grayson. I'm 35. I've been doing what I do, which is training people and dealing with nutrition now for 12 years professionally. I got into nutrition from a pretty young age because of sports. Got back when I was probably about 21. That's when I went into the Marine Corps, and there was some real good information outlets coming out that had a lot of science involved, and that's really what sparked my interest and what made me know that I wanted to do this for a living. Ever since then, I'm really lucky and blessed to be in a field that I love, so I keep trying to educate myself and continue to read. There's obviously plethora information out there in regards to nutrition, and we keep learning more and more about the body, and things keep changing, so it's really easy to keep getting more info on it. And for me, I get bored easy, so my curiosity and the fact that I get bored, I think, has driven me to continue to stay in academia and learn, so I'm really blessed to love what I do. Okay, what's unique about it? I can only speak in regards to what I think is unique about it, of course. One thing that's extremely unique to me about it is the fact that you can't eat or drink anything from sun up till sundown. My experience with fasting in the past has typically been from a religious standpoint, and my only real source of religion, or what religion I somewhat practiced, was Christianity, and the concept of fasting for them, I believe it was like not to eat meat. It was very limited in how they would fast, which was quite easy to do. So the concept of not eating or drinking from sun up to sundown is quite unique to me, and it's pretty hard initially, and it's a pretty big commitment. Well, the first thing is to be able to eat foods that are going to keep you satiated for a few hours so you're not starving. Things that are going to help to try to stabilize blood sugar the best you can. And most of it, honestly, is psychological too. For me, again, I can only speak for myself, but the first couple of days were pretty tough. After that, what happens is your body's metabolism will slow down to get acclimated to what you're putting it through. Our bodies are amazing at keeping us in homeostasis, so they'll adjust to pretty much anything, even the most severe conditions. It just takes a couple of, takes a couple of days for that acclimation to happen. So the first few days were tough. After that, it's really not that hard. The only other thing that you want to make sure, in my personal opinion, not to do is exert yourself too much, especially since right now we're in, I'm in Chicago right now, and it's pretty hot. It's 70, 80 degrees out. You don't want to do things that are going to really exert yourself and dehydrate you, and then have to wait several hours to be able to eat. So you just want to try to take it easy. That's the only other thing that's been pretty tough. Well, okay, sugar and fried foods, obviously sugar is going to spike insulin. Insulin is the fat storage hormone, okay? The only real time you need sugar is when you're active, okay? What the body is supposed to do, okay, is you're supposed to take in sugar, like let's say from fruit, a natural source, and then you're supposed to be able to use it up as an energy source, okay? So let's say you have an 8-year-old son. He comes home from school, he has a piece of fruit or whatnot, or something with some sugar. He goes out and plays for an hour. He's used up all that sugar, so then it's not an issue. But when you're sitting around doing nothing and you're eating sugar, your body's not using that for energy. So what happens is it has to be stored someplace. It can be stored in 3 places: your liver, your muscles, or in a fat cell. Your liver and your muscles have a limited amount that they can store. After that, it's going to a fat cell. that's pretty much the easiest way to get fat, okay? And if that happens, of course, you're prone to a whole bunch of health problems, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and a plethora of other things. The same thing pretty much goes with fried foods, but for different reasons. If you're frying foods, first of all, you're denaturing what you're cooking, typically from the high heat. You're cooking it in oils that are hydrogenated, so these are going to cause, again, endothelial dysfunction, cardiovascular disease, which still can end up causing type 2 diabetes. Let's see, what else? What else did you mention?
What should we be eating?
Basically, what you should be eating is the same thing, regardless if you're fasting or not fasting all the time. You should pretty much eat what Allah has provided for us, okay? Foods that are natural, animal proteins that are halal, and especially it's relevant to what the animal ate too. I can get into that more in detail in a second. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, things like that. Anything that man has put his hands in and tried to alter or manipulate is pretty bad for you, and you should make every effort to stay away from that. Like I said, regardless if you're fasting or not. That's pretty much it on that. Then you want to just try to eat every couple hours to maintain stable blood sugar. This is something you really can't do while you're fasting. So as I mentioned before, you want to try to make sure you're eating foods that are going to keep you satiated. Meats do that, and fats do that rather well. And so do slow digesting carbohydrates, some of the more complex carbohydrates like brown rice, couscous, quinoa, slow cooking oats, things like that. Definitely, you have to. For starters, since you are fasting, you can't eat again until sundown. That's going to be brutal. I think the temptation to eat and break that fast is going to be way too hard psychologically. And from a physiological standpoint, if you haven't eaten that long, you're basically catabolic, okay? That means that your body's starting to break down your own tissue. Something has to fuel you throughout the day. So if you don't have enough glucose and glycogen to use as a fuel, your body's going to want to convert amino acids into glucose neogenesis, and that means it's breaking down muscle tissue to convert that into glucose, because that's the most that's the fuel your body likes the most. And this is a bad thing, because this is going to equate to lost, you're going to lose muscle, you're going to lose strength. These are two of the biggest correlations to aging, actually, is muscle loss and strength loss. If you can try to minimize those two things, there's a good chance that you're going to live a longer, healthier life just with that. Those are two of the biggest correlations to death, actually, especially for women. So yeah, it's very important. When you're not fasting, again, like I said, you should try to eat every couple hours to maintain stable blood sugar. You can't do that when you're fasting. However, if you can eat before the sun comes up and then right when the sun comes down, you're better off than if you just ate when the sun went down.